Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hey, y'all, it's Woody Overton, the host of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. And you're listening to Local Leaders, the podcast.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to Local Leaders, the podcast. This is episode number 134, and sitting across from me in this chair is Jason Durant. Is that right?
Man, it depends where you're from. It's one of the most butchered last names ever. It's actually, from what I know growing up, Derwin.
Yeah.
But nobody got it right when I was growing up in high school and what have you, and people would call me Deruin.
Deruin, yeah, I can see that.
I ended up Deruin my last name because I was like, I'm just going with it. So I say Jason Deruin, but Derwin is actually the French pronunciation.
There you go. Jason D.
I'll take it.
I like that too. Or otherwise known as the Cajun Ninja. So everybody can check him out that maybe you haven't seen all the wonderful things you're cooking up and getting it crack-a-lacking and all that kind of stuff in your kitchen on a pretty much a daily basis. I mean, you post videos pretty frequently.
I try, there are gaps in between, but thankfully I've created enough content that I'm able to kind of resurface stuff, almost like a rerun.
Yes.
And I was always
HD version.
Exactly. Yeah, high definition. Right. So I was kind of always nervous about resharing stuff I had done. I thought, well, people saw it, but I've learned that new people are always coming in.
Yes.
And when you resurface it, they're like, I hadn't seen that one. So I do that. I just reshare and create and reshare. And it's been really cool.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And I do want to mention that in this first segment, we are really have a lot of support from Hancock Whitney Bank. Very thankful for that. And Mr. Cajun Ninja is going to move all his money to Hancock Whitney at the end of this episode. Just kidding.
It's not very much.
I hadn't talked to him about that yet. But yeah. But thank you very much for coming on, and we're going to jump right into it. And the Cajun Ninja maybe isn't so familiar with how we do things here on Local Leaders of the podcast. We kind of do a long form podcast where we tell kind of your whole history into how you got to do what you do. We believe that when people know why you do it, they're more apt to support you, buy from you, whatever. So we're going to get into where you were born and raised. Tell me about that.
So I was born in Thibodaux, Louisiana. Yeah. Grew up in Houma, Louisiana. At about age 27, my wife and I moved to Broussard, Louisiana. So I've got a lot of love and history in, kind of the southern Bayou region, and then also the Acadiana region with Lafayette and all.
Absolutely.
Two of my daughters were born in Lafayette.
Yes.
Big raging Cajun fan, but also a big LSU fan, which I know for a lot of people that shouldn't mix. But I like to say that's my recipe.
That's it. And look, I was a huge, for what they called it USL back in those days.
That's correct.
But I was a huge USL fan back in the day. I thought I was going to be recruited by them coming out of high school, but that didn't come to fruition. But I always loved them. And and the colors are great. You know?
Oh, for sure.
And Nichols,
How can you not like red?
I'm telling you, And then you got Nichols, where the Saints would do their training. For several years, they did their summer training. I think it was there, and I had went to a lot of those.
And it's funny because I'm sitting here mentioning the Cajuns and LSU. Obviously, those are probably the more bigger schools when it comes to sports. But I am repping a Nichols hat.
You are.
Because the Colonels, that is part of the old T-town where I'm from, and the Colonels have done some great things. We got Coach Rebo there, who actually came from UL.
Yes.
So I like to see them grow, and hopefully they become real popular too. I'd love to see them on a level one day like North Dakota State.
Yes.
Which is in that same realm of football. So
I would say so.
Let's blow it up down in Louisiana.
That's it. Let me ask you this before we go any further. So obviously the area you just mentioned, Houma, our hearts go out to them. Tell me about that struggle with Hurricane Ida. How are things looking over there?
It's crazy, man. The people of Houma, Thibodaux, LaRose, Cutoff, Galliano, like Raceland, all these areas that really got affected.
Yeah,
they're so resilient. They're so like, all right, well, let's just get out there and clean up. So there's been struggles, of course, with the amount of groceries on the shelf. A lot of the places we like to dine at, and shop at are not running right now. But, we make do with what we have. And, people seem to be in good spirits. I mean, there's still been holding, these functions around the area. I know Bayou Terrebonne Distilleries down there has put on some great functions for the Ida relief that have been free to the public. And when you get to hang out with those crowds in those moments of just, hey, let's relax, you'd swear that a hurricane never even happened,
100%.
So, there are people that are still going through struggles, and we're still, trying to find ways to help them. But for overall, I think people are in good spirits and know that we'll bounce back.
Yeah. And, you said the word there, which was resilient. And, of course, people here in Livingston Parish, they know what that means, because in 2016, we had a horrible flood here in Denham Springs. 90% of the homes went underwater. For everywhere from a foot to 6 feet. It was crazy. And we did just what them good folks down there in your area did, and that was we didn't wait for anybody. We just started picking up the pieces, right? And so we know that struggle, and our hearts go out to all those people over there. And I'm not worried about y'all, because y'all are some good Cajuns. And you'll take care of it.
You can send us a few prayers.
Absolutely.
Those are free to give.
Yes, free to give. And I do want to mention a little bit about your family. You got a wife, Misty?
Absolutely, man. That's the yin to my yang.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know, but Misty is she's the spinal cord of the whole platform. She may not be on camera as much, but she's been super helpful for the growth of the page. I can't tell you how many times that I did videos and she'd take the three youngins in the back bedroom and just sit back there with them for like hours. That's amazing. I could film and have the sound good, not little girls screaming in 11-foot ceilings. I think like how many ladies would want to do that? More than likely, many women be like, I'm not about to go sit back there, but she would do it. She did it many times, and for the first year, there was no money or revenue in this. Facebook didn't pay anything at that time.
Yeah.
I didn't have products. I was just creating content. I believed in it. I knew it was something that was growing, and something felt good about it. And she supported me 100%. And I'm grateful for her.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, she is the rock of the garden. That's for sure.
Excellent. And not to be not mentioned, you have 3 children.
Yeah, my 3 little girls, Isabella, Zoe, and Juliet.
Great names.
Little ninjettes.
Yeah, the ninjettes.
Yep.
I love it. And your wife actually is it the Cajun Lady Ninja or something?
Well, now,
I saw that somewhere.
Well, she's like, I would talk about her so much that like I just started calling her Miss Cajun Ninja.
Yeah.
And I told her, you should create your own page. And she's like, no, nobody's gonna follow me. And I think she has almost like 10,000 people following now. And a lot of
She's
people.
the real star.
I did. Yeah. I mean, I told her. I said, babe, look, everybody has some type of story to tell, and your side of this is actually kind of interesting. Like people don't know how many struggles can be there for the person who's married to the creative content
100%
person. Like I mean, there's a balance there between what I do with the public and what I do with my family. And, you know, for me, it's always, you know, I'm a husband, I'm a dad, and you know, then a content creator. Yeah. And I try to always keep that in mind. But, you know, there are times too that she makes sacrifices so that I can continue to do what I do.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So she gets to show that on her page.
Hey ladies, it's Peyton with Idell Lane Spa and Boutique, located in Walker. We offer all things skincare, hair care, makeup, spray tan, lashes, and more. And we have a full selection of clothes. And we also do private events from birthday parties, bridal showers, and more. So stop by today and get your queen on, making every woman a queen. See you soon.
So in addition to all that, you're a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo and actually an instructor part-time in Houma?
Correct, yeah. Okay. I run a school down in Houma called Houma Martial Arts. And, you know, that's where I teach Taekwondo to people of all ages, really. You know, my classes consist of kids from 3 years old to, you know, ladies and gentlemen in their 50s and 60s, you know.
Yeah,
so,
it's amazing.
Actually, we had a lady who came in most recently. There's a lady in our class, Miss Donna, who's in her 50s, but she brought in her mom, who's in her 70s, and she came in kicking pads, you know.
Come on.
So, look, you know, body in motion stays in motion. And, you know, Miss Donna's mom said, if I keep moving, time won't catch me. So, yeah.
You can learn so much from our more seasoned folks.
It's been great, man. I love the class.
Yeah, yeah. And shout out to Miss Donna and her mom.
Hey, shout out Miss Donna and her mom.
Very good. Now, eventually, through all your life, I mean, there was a lot of things I'm sure on the way, but you made your way to the oil fields at some point, much like a lot of folks, and especially the Lafayette area do, and all that. Tell me about that. Tell me about your experience in that.
Yeah, you know, I was really kind of fortunate to land a job in sales in the oil industry. You know, selling pretty much a service which is called non-destructive testing. You know, in the oil field, they often have to they test the welded material, you know, or you know, structures that are put together for cracks, or if there's any trash in those welds. And they use actually what they do in the medical field, though, X-ray the welds, or they'll even use ultrasonics. Yes. You know, and so these companies that are you know, putting platforms together, welding pipe together, they need these services. So I would go out there and search for those businesses.
100%. How long did you spend doing that?
Let's see. Probably almost 8 years. Yeah, probably almost 8 years. So you were
that was a good stint.
I was in it quite a bit. You know, faced some layoffs, man. You know, and I noticed the trend on the second layoff. I noticed the trend. I was like, man, when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad.
That's
and
right.
When it's bad, you're the overhead. You know, as great as, you know, a salesman you can be and build a division, an area, what have you. At the end of the day, you're selling the service. The people that are selling the next job are the ones who do the work.
Yes.
You know, the guys in the field. And those are the ones who are more important. You know, and so after that second one, when I sat down on my couch and I told my wife, you know, I just want to do something that's me. And I just want to chill for a second. Yeah. And that's how this kind of all started.
Awesome. And we're going to get into all of that because that's amazing. And I do want to say you're 100% correct. In the oil industry, it's either really good or really bad. And I used to tell people all the time they would celebrate because that gas was going down. And look, you want it to be reasonable. But when it would go under about $2 a gallon, I'd get nervous for my buddies, you know, in these refineries and say, hey, man, $2 a gallon is fair. Let's not drop it below that because they do. They you know, it's a derivative. So it goes up and down. And unfortunately, these big corporations, they like to hold profit. So
yeah, I mean, when it's low like that, that means there's probably too much of it on the shelf, you know. So
that's right. That's 100% right. Now, you have a passion for food. Imagine that. The Cajun Ninja's got a passion for food, and it's obvious, totally obvious when people watch your videos, that you have a real big passion for that. And after you got laid off, kind of saw the writing on the wall, you decided, you know, I'm going to film myself cooking. So yeah. It sounds simple, but take me through that thought process.
So really, that really wasn't even the thought process. When I started that page, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to do something that entertained people. Yeah. You know, I love to entertain people. I love to make people laugh. And, you know, I follow Gary Vee. You know, yes. We talked about him earlier. Yes. During those times, like it was 2015 was the year before I started doing this. I listened to a lot of his viral videos, and, you know, he was real big on just create content, you know, just create something. And So when 2016 came, I was like, I'm just going to do something. I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm just going to do something. Yeah. And I would just upload like funny videos, things with my daughters, my wife. I maybe had like 400 followers through like me inviting all my friends and so it really wasn't doing much for about 6 months. And then I was Snapchatting myself cooking gumbo.
Yeah.
And you're able to take like all your snaps and put it into one video. So I was going to put that on like my personal page, like, hey, this is me messing around cooking gumbo. And I thought, my friends and all, they know how to cook gumbo, man. They're probably going to clown me, So I was like, well, I'll put it on my little page at the time. Was called "What You Doing to Ruin."
I love it.
Yeah, I didn't have the ninja name at the time. I just didn't know what to call it. So I called "What You Doing to Ruin" because like I was doing anything.
Yeah.
And then I posted it there, and the next morning it was shared 11 times. And at that time, I had maybe had stuff that was shared 3 times.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's a lot. Which is funny to say now, right?
Yeah.
And then like within 2 days, that one video had 1 million views. And, and I was like, whoa. I was like, man, I might be onto something here,
Yeah.
So at that point, I remember Gary Vee saying, like, do what you love, whatever you love, do a bunch of things centered around what you love. I love entertaining people. It just turned out that cooking was a thing I did, was entertain me. And he had said, whenever that one thing hits, double down on it. I said, I'm going to cook. So I just started cooking.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's how it can be.
And here they come.
Yeah. And so the very next video, the first video I said paya when I was throwing the Trinity in the pot. And the very next video I chopped it with my hand and I said, don't mess with the Cajun Ninja. Yeah. And then people were saying, they were calling me that. And I ultimately ended up switching the page name.
Man, and from one creator to another, that's really where, these are really well-known things that you say now. And even your name, the Cajun Ninja, came kind of spurred from that stuff. And my point here is it seems like the most simple things are where it's at. I mean, this wasn't, you didn't sit down thinking about a name for a year, or maybe you did, but that wasn't what you landed with. You landed with, Cajun Ninja, which is perfect. It's perfect for what you do. And the paya, not pia, y'all, which is what I said when he came in. And I'm like, I knew it was paya. Why did I? Because I watch his videos. So
man comes so prepared.
I know it.
First thing he throws out is a pia.
I'm surprised you didn't walk out the door.
I've been pia'd many times. So
it wasn't the first for you. Good deal. Good deal. Well, we're going to get kind of into this next segment, and I do want to mention it's brought to you by Sandra Ricard. And Sandra Ricard is a commercial realtor here locally, and she wanted me to tell you, Mr. Cajun Ninja, 2 things. One, she went fishing the other day, and she wanted to thank you for sharing that video because it got like 75,000 views on it. I don't know if you remember that, but she did a fishing video the other day that you shared. She was on a something with fish. She was on like a commercial fishing trip or something. And anyway,
man,
she's an awesome woman.
Well, right
but
on.
A commercial realtor, and she said when you can't stand it, you got so much of this stuff, and you're looking for a commercial building to expand, she got you covered. So
well, right on.
There you go. He's gonna look you up, Miss Sandra.
Put that in the back pocket.
Put that in the back pocket. First video you did, which was gumbo. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I know you don't know it, but another friend of this show is Woody Overton with Real Life Real Crime. We talked about him earlier, and Woody, a lot of you people out there know him. He just signed with iHeartRadio, big true crime podcaster.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Woody, when I told him you were coming on the show, said, "You're kidding. I know that dude." I said, "You do?" He said, "Let me tell you a story." So Woody tells me that he is quite the cook as well. And he said, "I had a gumbo recipe, Jim, I've used for 20 years. And he said, I kind of want to try something different. Just wasn't, it was like the same one over and over. It's good, but I wanted something different." So he called his mother and he said, "You got a gumbo recipe maybe that's different than the one I've always used? I want to try something different." She said, "Here's what you need to do, Woody Overton. You need to go to YouTube and you need to YouTube this guy called the Cajun Ninja, and he's got a recipe on there that you need to try."
Wait, his mom?
His mother did. 85 years old.
Well, I am humbled by this.
So Woody said, "I did just what Mama said. Went to YouTube and checked it out." And he said, "Jim, I'm telling you, I made that recipe. It's the best gumbo I've ever made. And I've made it about 4 times now." So
wow,
y'all are already friends. They ain't even met each other yet.
Yeah, well, that's really cool, man. Look, I tell people all the time, I don't consider anything I do the best by any means. I think food is subjective.
Yes.
We all have a preference. But to hear someone say that is obviously super humbling, and that his mom, decided to talk about me to him.
Yeah,
I take that in high regards because to me, age is wisdom. So anytime I'm compared to a grandma or if grandma's referencing me, I will take that. That is awesome.
It was Woody Overton mom approved.
Well,
basically.
Shout out to Woody Overton's mom.
Yes, indeed. Fit Blends of Denham Springs can help you with everything from meal prep to supplements. I love it that they serve breakfast all day in addition to the best ultra healthy wraps you can really get anywhere in Livingston Parish. They are home of the $5 Smoothie Friday and are an amazing sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. Fit Blends Denham Springs, fast, fit food for you. So on that first video, which was gumbo, it went viral. And when we say went viral, what does that mean? And over a million views? I don't
know what really constitute as viral anymore or defines viral. I guess if you hit 1 million, right, that would seem pretty viral.
Yeah.
But yeah, like currently that video sits at like 45 million views and it's been shared, I think, over 500,000 times, across the many different ones. Cause I've put it out there a few different times. Every year I try to repost it again, around, the year that it debuted was October 17, 2016. And, it's crazy because like I call it the infamous gumbo. And the reason why I say infamous is because there were many people who tried it and loved it and had confidence, but there were many people who hated it too, because gumbo is one of those controversial dishes that your mama has a recipe, your aunt has a recipe, your grandpa, that's not how you do it. You got to put this, you got to put that, so there was a lot of hate in the beginning.
Everybody's got their different spin on it. It's kind of like boiling crawfish. Look, some people say pour the salt in there. Some people say don't pour the salt. It don't work. To me, the end result, does it taste good? Yeah. Well, I'm down.
Yeah, for sure. And look, I've learned there is no right way to do it at all, because if there was a right way to do it, then there would be no need for the gumbo cook-off.
That's right.
That's right. The reason why we have a cook-off is to see who's the best on that day according to this group of people.
Yes.
And then the next year we do it again. And that's why there's always a new winner, because that day we got a new lineup of people. And what their taste is whoever they thought the best was that day.
That's right.
So
that's right. And keep it positive. Everybody's got their own spin. And I'll give you an example of one of your videos that worked for me and really put a new spin on the way I do things. I think I make one of the best chilies ever known to man on the history of the earth.
Right on.
Me and my wife. I don't know if anybody else thinks that, but we definitely do. But I was watching your video on chili. And I'm watching it and I'm like, I might could take the Cajun Ninja on this. So I'm watching it through and through and I'm like, hey, he does pretty much the same stuff I do. And we're looking at it and all of a sudden you pull out the ace of spades or something, man. You pull out chocolate and you say, it can't be sweet.
No.
Don't put no sugar.
No.
You want unsweetened chocolate, but you drop 2 things of chocolate. And you know what I did? I hit pause first. I'm like, oh, he done did it now. I hit pause. I went in there. I told my wife, I said, Check this out. Next time I make chili, I'm putting unsweetened chocolate in it. She looked at me and she goes, ooh. I said, I'm telling you, I ain't never thought of that, but I haven't done it yet, but I plan on doing it, and I will let you know. But everything's better with chocolate. Let's be honest, sweet or not.
Yeah, look, I love chocolate, like big time. And I'll tell you, man, there's been a few people, quite a few people who have tried it already since I've put it out there, and they'll tell you, like, when you taste it before, it's good, but something about it, the chocolate does something where it enhances. It's like it enhances the chili powder, the cumin, the things that really make a chili.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll put chocolate in chicken noodle soup. It don't
Man, look at you. You love chocolate, huh?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I need to make a video of that. Drop your chocolate in there.
You want a video to go viral? Put chocolate in your chicken noodle soup.
Indeed. Those are the things you're going to get out of watching these videos is, just a new spin on something maybe, or maybe he's doing it the same way you did it. But you got to watch and check it out. I'm telling you. But what makes the Cajun Ninja so amazing is the entertainment that goes along with what you do. And I want to kind of bring that up in segment 3, and that's brought to you by Root Home Inspection. Sean Root, he does mold inspections, pool inspections, online reporting, and he will inspect commercial buildings. So when you get that commercial building with all this stuff in there, Sean Root will come inspect it for you. How about that?
Right on.
So you're off and running, right? You're turning out videos faster than Bruce Lee can throw round kicks.
That's pretty fast.
I like that, don't you? Bruce Lee and round kick. Yeah, that's fast.
Yeah, kicking like Bruce Lee is pretty fast.
1-inch punch. Right in the chair. Anyway, that's a whole nother video. So you're turning them out, and you develop a kind of like, I don't want to call it a shtick because it's you, right? But and it's not a gimmick. And sometimes when I think of shtick, I think of gimmick. It's not a gimmick. This is who this man is. But it's excellent things to make all your episodes entertaining. One of them that I'll mention right off the bat, that I have interviewed some people. Since you was coming on the show, I went to friends and I said, what's your favorite thing about the Cajun Ninja? Because it's good to see what your fans really take to. And everybody loves a karate chop. Yes, yeah. They love it. You hit that thing and do some camera magic, and boom, there it goes, and you dicing vegetables all over the place. What made you think of that?
What do you mean camera magic? What are you talking?
It is real. I knew it.
People always say, like, how do you chop your vegetables? Because they always look so pretty, and I'll send them a picture of this right here.
If you had this weapon.
No, man. It's kind of funny because, like, I tell people a lot, sometimes I wish I'd have thought of something a little easier. Because that scene takes probably almost an hour.
I feel your pain.
It's such a quick little scene, right? But like everything has to be aligned perfectly, and then I'm trying to make it as realistic as possible with a camera in hand. So when you do that, you gotta come back to it and understand where the cropping is. So to be lined up good on that, but yeah, I don't know, man. I think whenever I was doing that second little video, I just thought it'd be cool to do that. I like camera trickery and things that kind of catch you off guard. And I threw it in there, and people seem to love it. So I was like, well, I'm gonna keep doing it every time. And like you said, it ended up being my shtick. You know? And or my niche, however people
niche.
Say
that's a better word for it.
Yeah,
shtick is kind of
shtick is just hard to say. It
really is.
Like
try to spell it.
I feel like when you air this, and I'm like, it's gonna be my, and it's just gonna be my beep. Because I just didn't say it right.
Right.
But so my niche, and it has really stuck out with all ages. I love when like parents send me their kids trying, like they full on believe they can do it. And they nail that onion, bow, and it just rolls off the table, and they're so deflated, but it's fun.
BJ Pawn and Gun in Denham Springs wants to buy your unwanted gold jewelry, gold coins, and gold bullion. With 30 years of experience operating in the Livingston Parish area, BJ Pawn wants to be your source when selling your gold. So stop by BJ Pawn today for a no-obligation offer. BJ Pawn, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. Oh, it really is. It's great. And of course, I mentioned to you earlier, my favorite part is when he grabs the pots and says,
it's time to get your pot, heat it up.
yes, my favorite part. I run around the house saying that, and everybody looks at me. I've got 3 kids too, so a little bit older than yours. I got 16-year-old twins, 18-year-old son, but it don't matter. I still tell them heat it up.
That's it, man. Look, the beauty of that line to me is it's time, and I think that's why people like it. And I even put it right here in the back of the can. Get your pot heated up, And I had, a lot of thoughts in my head of like, should I make it Cajun and put like get ya or something like that. But I thought, that's kind of how I say it when I started. So I just fully pronunciate it, and that way, if somebody in Delaware ends up with this can, they're gonna understand what that means.
That's right. That's right.
Get your pie heated up, and I love that line because it's like, all right, it's time to start cooking.
Love it. Yeah. And then my other line that I like is, of course, anytime you're dealing with the Ninja, it's got to be crack-a-lacking, right? Got to be crack-a-lacking. Yeah. We crack-a-lacking in this podcast today, and you get it crack-a-lacking everywhere else. And you even got T-shirts say crack-a-lacking.
That's right,
Don't think I ain't going to order one.
It was so cool when I was designing it, and it was this amazing light bulb as I was writing it out, like crack-a-lacking. The L just fit right perfect in the middle.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to put the state of Louisiana.
Yes.
And it says, let's get crack-a-lacking,
100%, man. You definitely have a talent for all of that stuff, and the numbers kind of show that. And that's a great thing about what we do as creators is we know if we're really giving the people something they want to hear, because they'll tell us by not watching or watching. And your success has just been phenomenal. You said it was your second video you came out with the. Wow, man.
Yeah, the paya, yeah. Well,
awesome.
I said paya in the first one, but all I did was throw the Trinity in the pot, and then the second one I chopped the vegetable.
Yeah. Just great moves all around. You've really made the right moves at the right time, and I think it's just who you are. It wasn't designed to, gain followers per se. It's just, hey, man, this would be funny, and you do it, and just took excellent work. So you mentioned Gary Vee earlier, which we talked a little bit off camera, and he's a pretty successful content creator. I'm sure everybody knows Gary Vee out there. He has a following like no other, but he has a motto, and you mentioned this in your questionnaire. I think it spoke volumes about who you are. You said, or he said, chase happiness, not money. My question is, how much did that resonate with you?
Huge, man. Especially now that I've grown what I've grown now through happiness, that I've understood, if you work hard at something that you're just passionate about, the work will come a lot easier. And then when it does blossom into something that can be financial, that can, provide for your family, you're kind of set, really. As long as it's enough that, like you said, that can cover your needs, you're set. You every day when you get up, you're doing something you truly love.
Yes.
And I know what it means to get up and go to a place where I'm not necessarily happy or not wanting to do something I really care for, but I have to because I'm committed to the things that I have: my mortgage, my car, my kids' schooling. Yes. And a lot of people are in those places. And it's not easy to just jump into something like I did. I was fortunate enough that I was kind of smart with my money and saved a lot of it. And then when I had that next layoff, I was able to just, do what I did. But for sure, man. Chasing happiness for sure. Even as this grew and blossomed that first year, I wasn't putting out like all kind of crazy amounts of merch or anything like that, or constantly trying to get more followers. Like you never really hear me say, make sure you like and subscribe. I don't really say that. Not if anybody does, that's fine. But like for me, it was like, I'm just gonna do what I love. If they want to subscribe, they want to be a part of it, great. If not, I just keep doing that. Because I'm not trying to chase numbers. I'm happy to talk to the one versus having to keep up with 1 million.
Yes. And I'll tell you, yes. And I'll say this as well as a caveat, as an addition to that. If you're doing what you love and you're genuine, those followers will come just because you are who you are, right? I want to mention the top 5 videos you have posted on YouTube. I did a little research, went and looked at the numbers in case people, because I know what's going to happen. Some people are going to hear this and they're like, yeah, I've heard of the Cajun Ninja, but I've never watched your stuff. So here's some favorites, according to the YouTube numbers anyway. Your chicken and sausage gumbo in HD. Almost 700,000 on the views on that one. Crawfish boil. 373,000. Crawfish etouffee, 371,000. Smothered pork chop at 365, and hamburger steak at 329. So that's your top 5, but it kind of in order as far as what you have currently posted on your YouTube that I can find.
Yeah, and that order would probably be different.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
On Facebook.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact the one not in HD
is
way more popular.
Oh, yeah.
Which is crazy because earlier we were talking about how like sometimes just simple stuff, right?
Yeah.
That video was done on Snapchat, low quality, no music, no. I don't even show my face on camera, like, and that video is
that's crazy.
Has seen them by the most people.
Yeah. So the moral to that story is you don't have to have $1 million worth of equipment to now. I know that, I'm sitting here with SM7Bs and I'm Googling Joe Rogan and his equipment and I want to copy it. And we got the same stands, by the way.
I'm not gonna lie. These are pretty badass. Can I say badass?
Yes, you can absolutely say
badass.
that. Thank you very much. And anybody can get it. You mentioned Facebook and does it ever boggle your mind that over 1 million people are on your Facebook page?
Oh yeah, that's.
Sit back and think of that. Think about that.
The way I put it in perspective, which for a lot of people, could definitely, fathom this, is if you've ever sat in Tiger Stadium and looked around, you're looking at 100,000 people, and like that is a substantial amount of people when you look around, and you multiply that times 10. Like that's how many people like know who you are. That can be overwhelming.
And took an interest in what you were saying.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And look, I always try to stay in the mindset of like, be humble, be grateful. Because at the end of the day, to me, like I get to be on this stage, but they follow in this stage. They walking up to this stage. They're allowing me to perform for them. Yeah. So that's why I don't always say like they follow me.
Yeah.
They follow. If you ever listen to me talk, I'll usually say like, thank you for following my platform. You know, thank you for following the place I'm allowed to do this. That you've given me this opportunity.
Yeah.
But yeah, like to really put that in a whole perspective. It's wild, and I think, it doesn't really register until like, when we were like in Tennessee and we were getting recognized there, and I've been, recognized in Ohio and Galveston, Texas.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah, that's weird, because I don't know, like I still have the mentality that we're just all the same people. Like at the end of the day, we're all on the same stage. This morning, you and I got out, put our feet on the same ground.
100%.
So there's no reason for me to think that anybody's looking up at me.
That's right.
So
that's right. And look, if I ever need a good humbling, I just go home. The wife will humble me. She's like, "Look here, YouTube star, go in there and wash them dishes." And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." No problem.
We still live a real
just
life.
Just who I am. Yeah, and what a blessing for both of us. You and I would never compare myself to your followership that you have, but we're both very blessed to be able to do this, right?
Right. And that is the comparison.
Yes.
It doesn't. The numbers is irrelevant.
Yeah.
The comparison is the blessing.
Yeah.
So
100%.
yeah. For sure.
100%. I do want to mention you include your, a lot of your videos, you'll have your kids in there. I'll mention one in particular, and it was when you received the silver play button from YouTube. And for people out there that are like, dude, what's a silver play? Look, in a creator's mind, that's a huge honor. You have to get over 100,000 subscribers to qualify for that. There's even a gold one above that for the buttons. But when you got that, you did kind of an unboxing, I guess you could say, of that on live on YouTube, and your kids were there, your wife, and you did this nice little thing, but you include the family in some of your videos, and I think that's pretty awesome too. So even the young ones are learning early. You got a bunch of creators coming up.
Yeah,
Cajun Ninja babies.
And look, I have them part of it here and there, but I don't want it to be to the point where I'm, it's fixated on let's create content with y'all.
Yes.
I still want them to just continue to live a normal kid's life, which 100%. I don't know really what that is anymore. We're always evolving, but
yeah.
Every once in a while they do want to do some stuff. So we have created a few things, but I don't make it a point to make sure that we doing videos constantly. But
right.
If I can include them, I definitely will, because I think my success is ultimately a part of my entire family, not just me videoing what I do,
Very, very well put and true. And now we're going to get to this stuff right here, the seasoning of all seasonings. And we're going to call this segment 4. It's brought to you by Rhino Electric. They handle all of your electrical needs, whether it's commercial or new residential. So give them a call, because they can charge all of your electrical needs without shocking your wallet. How you like that?
That is a nice catch.
That's a good one. I love it.
Yeah, that was smart.
Yeah, so check them out. So let's talk Paya seasoning. And I talked to you about this a little off camera, but one of the ways that I discovered the Cajun Ninja was he's very good with listing, doing a little video or a picture of where he's at, putting it on Facebook, putting it on Instagram. And I follow Carter's grocery store, which y'all have heard me talk about Carter's many times. Love that place. And he was at Carter's, and he took a picture of him stocking shelves or whatever. And I said, wow, man, that's a pretty cool name, Cajun Ninja. What does that dude do? And I love seasoning, so I saw that, and I'm like, maybe I need to check that out. Then I saw the next day you were at Oak Point, and took a picture, and that's kind of how I discovered you. But you're known for that seasoning, and I guess my question to you would be, how would you describe it? Because you go to the racks, and they got 20 different seasonings sitting there. What's different about yours?
Yeah,
Stephanie Berthelot and the crew at SR Enterprise can handle it all, from sheetrock to texture to paint. Give Stephanie a call at 504-432-9284. SR Enterprise, where they spread the paint and you spread the word.
So for mine, it was something I worked on for a good year and a half in my kitchen. Just like I tell people all the time, it was like Breaking Bad of seasoning. Like I was measuring grams, and I had it all mapped out, added together. Then I'd have to send it off to the people who I get to manufacture it. They'd send me their mass production sample of what it would be like in the can.
Yeah.
Have to cook with that. Nope, that wasn't it. Have to do it again. And ultimately I settled on a blend that I thought would have good spice, good hints of garlic, and a blend of other flavors with enough salt to have flavor, but not so much that if you start pouring it in, it gets overly salted.
Right.
So I knew I probably couldn't win the salt game in seasonings, with the ones that are out there.
Sure.
But I could probably stand apart with good kick.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. I think it's got good kick. When you taste it raw, the spice will hit you. But the amount that it's balanced at, when you cook with it, it's not so overbearing or overpowerful. So I'm very happy with it. I would tell people all the time, though, like, is it the best seasoning you'll ever try? Look, that's always going to be somebody's opinion on what's good and what's not.
Yeah.
But when people say, how do you compare to somebody else? you have to try to tell me, you know. I can't tell you, yeah, guys, go out and get you some right now. You know, like I'm not that guy. I refuse to be that guy. Like I said, I'm happy with it. I cook with it. I love it. And, you know, if you want to give it a try, it's out there.
I noticed on your videos, and this is how good a dude you are, because I don't know if I would do this. I'm like, man, I'm feeling really inadequate now. But he'll say 2 tablespoons of paya, and then, or your
favorite Cajun or Creole seasoning. Yeah.
Yes, and that's pretty awesome, man, because most people wouldn't do that considering they had their own season. They'd just be like, oh, if you don't use paya, it ain't gonna work.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Look, I guess, I could have went that direction, right? Of like, oh, this is what you got to use, you know. But I mean, that's not you. That's not me, and it's not true.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not true. And I believe in truth and logic. You know, I think if you're gonna take on any debate or any argument, as long as you're using truth and logic, you'll probably be in a good place. And you know, so that's what I think. And then I'm able to kind of like maybe nudge off some of the haters who would chime in and say, well, I like this, that, you know, because I've already said, you know, I feel like I kind of 8-miled it, you know, like Eminem, you know.
Yes.
I just went ahead and told you, go ahead and use what you love.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't have to use mine. You use what you love. If you got something that works and that makes you happy, then that's what you should do.
Yeah.
Always.
But here's another option. Is all you're giving. You're giving people another option. And let me tell you, good stuff. Good stuff. I'll say it. It's good stuff. Now, people are going to wonder. They're going to say, man, where can I get that stuff? We're based out of Livingston Parish. And, of course, I'll tell you here, you can get it at Carter's Grocery Store. You can get it at Oak Point. Are you in Jubin, over there on Jubin? I'm drawing it.
If I am, I'm not sure. Only reason why I say that is because I was doing a lot of my own distributing. Mm-hmm. But then when I got in with Happy City, they started distributing to people in Louisiana.
Gotcha.
So it is in places now that I'm unaware of. But I mean, I know in the Baton Rouge area, it's in every Rouse's. Oak
Rouse's,
Point.
That's what I was trying to think of.
I'm in all 65 Rouse's, I think it is. And
we got one right down the road. So you must be in that one.
Yeah, Rouse's has been great, man. You know, they've sold quite a bit of it, you know, thankfully to the public, you know. Yeah. Also in Ralph's Ralph's Market. Yep. Mm-hmm. So Carter's, Ralph's, Oak Point, Hubbins, Benedetto's.
And you know what I love about all those names you're spitting out? All of those are local grocers.
Bonings, that's another one.
Yeah. And so that kind of fits in with my show. Mm-hmm. And love all those folks. And so check that out. If you go into a place, if it's okay if I say this, if you go into a place and they don't have it, ask them for it.
Sure.
You know, and maybe shoot the Cajun Ninja a message on Facebook and say, hey, I live in, you know, Timbuktu, and we ain't got none of that seasoning here, and I want some.
Yeah,
and
look,
you know, it over there.
People hit me up and say, well, when are you going to get it here? And it's like, you could help me with that. You know, maybe go to that store, find out who it is that you need to talk to, tell them to contact me.
Yes.
And we'll make it happen. Because, I cover Max Fresh Market. I distribute my own product to them by just shipping it to them. And I ship directly to their stores, and it's in Alexandria, Pineville, it's in Monroe, it's in 4 different ones in Arkansas. So, I'll put the work in and get it if you want it, and I'll make it happen.
And I saw you put a post on Facebook, and you said, hey, where you want me to go next? And I threw up Tennessee. I think Tennessee is a great place for seasonings.
I would love to get it there, for sure.
Yeah, I got some hookups in Tennessee.
Let me know.
I'm going to see what I can do for you. It's more natural than just about any of the ones. I mean, I know there's others out there, but it's pretty much would you say an all natural?
So here's the thing. I technically cannot say all natural because the place I get it manufactured does a wide variety of things. And, you know, they have, you know, products that are probably preservatives and what have you that aren't technically considered all natural, but are obviously safe in moderation. Yeah. But the ingredients that are in mine are natural ingredients only. Even my anti-caking agent is a rice concentrate.
Yes.
So, you know, if you look at the ingredients, it's all stuff you can pronounce.
Very good. Yeah, that'll tell you right there. It's probably more natural than not. So we'll say 99.9% on that.
But the only reason why I can is because they do other things in the facility, and like the little bit of particles that might have been left over could be in, you know.
Yeah.
But so I don't put all natural. If I had my own facility and manufactured my own thing, only mine, then I could say it.
Yes. Yes. Perfect. William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance in Denham Springs can service all of your insurance needs. Offering auto, life, health, and commercial insurance, William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance is a proud supporter of Local Leaders, the podcast. We're going to move into segment 5, and that's brought to you by Performance Tire and Auto. Go see Ben Morris and the team at Performance. Free flat tire repairs and free rotations with every oil change. Full service repair facility. Tires, AC, diagnostics, man, they do it all. They do it all. So go see Ben Morris and those folks at Performance Tire and Automotive, located right here in Denham Springs. Now, it's important to mention you got branded merchandise.
Yeah,
and we talked about T-shirts.
I have stuff over at thecajunninja.com.
Yeah.
You know, it's because people ask for it. You know, so I made it hats and you know, I got my spatula. You know, I call it. Sometimes I call it spatula.
I've seen that earlier.
Yeah.
I saw that on your last episode. Yes.
Yeah, and people love it, man. It's a great stocking stuffer. So this time of year, it sells pretty heavily. But you know, it's made of bamboo, so it's light. Bamboo doesn't hold bacteria. You know, it's you know, better with heat, handles heat better. And the way it's designed, it has a little bit almost kind of like a flatter top, big curve on one side, small curve on the other, so it can handle big curved pots, small curved pans, and make a roux.
Very good. Very good. And I was watching an episode, and actually you taught me something on that one. You were doing the diced vegetables. And look, the thing I can't stand about that is it takes so long, right? It's like a half hour at least. You got to let them things saute in there. It just is what it is. I can't speed up time. I'm impatient, whatever. So so you're doing all that, and you mentioned to pour something in that pot to kind of get that, keep it from sticking on the bottom.
Yeah, so you know, as you're doing that, you know, you know, if you're not taught this and you're trying to get your vegetables soft, and you see all that stuff building in the bottom, people think, I'm burning it.
Give me a Brillo pad.
And really, if you just add a little bit of water, it'll break up, and you can keep cooking your vegetables down. And all that water will evaporate, because people are afraid to do that because they think,
it's going to get soggy,
or it's going to get bland. You know, and but you're continuing to cook in a pan that's uncovered. So the water will evaporate, you know? And it works, and it breaks it up, and it adds nice color to your vegetables. And
fantastic.
Great little technique.
And what made me think of that was you mentioned that spatula, and I believe you were using that at that point in time. So you can get that on his website, and I'm going to link that to this video as well. And that merchandise, these are attractive looking T-shirts, and I'm sure you got hats on there. And
this is the one right here, actually. I really love this one, man. You know, it's very patriotic.
Yeah,
Louisiana is the only state where the word has USA running right in the middle. No other state has that, you know. So so it's Louisiana. I put the state as the L, and then the U, S, and A, red, white, and blue.
Yes, love it. And it's great that we have a state that's a letter, right? So you can use it as a letter. I mean, if we were in Mississippi, we'd be in a bind. But with Louisiana, you can use it as, you know, well, it's on this side, but I usually have a logo of the state above this with a heart on Livingston Parish, because that's where we're based out of. We brought up holidays. It's Christmas. Well, let's not forget about Thanksgiving, folks, which often gets overlooked because everybody loves Christmas time. But this is a great time for you, because I was sitting there thinking today, and when I'm not thinking about me, I'm thinking about you, Mr. Ninja, and your business. And I was thinking, it'd be great if you did like a series just based around holiday food, right? Stuff that you can cook. For example, we were talking about earlier with the one you just released with the crawfish. You know, that's something I'm going to make as a side dish now. And I may not have thought of that had you not dropped that video. But I'd love to see you do some drops on some side dishes that you can do that maybe people don't normally think of when they think of holidays.
Yeah, well, you know, this time of year, that's often what I do is either resurface stuff that I have that's geared towards that, or I'll recreate one, or you know, put another, you know, touch on one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I got my baked mac and cheese. I'm going to get out there. I've got my dirty rice. I'm going to get out there. I just reposted my fried turkey. You know, so believe me, those cross my mind for sure.
Yeah, excellent. So look for those coming out, and I've mentioned this a couple times, but I'm linking his YouTube to to this page. So go give him a like and follow him. He's not going to actually do that, but I'm going to tell you, dude, do it for me. And you'll love it. Trust me, you'll thank me for it later. I'm going to digress a little bit. Just mention one thing that I didn't mention earlier. Now, you were in a band in your 20s?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was actually in a local cover band called Dolly Parton.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Yeah, we kind of spelt it like Dalai Lama and the word pardon, like pardon me. Yeah, we did. Awesome. We played cover music, man. So that was like my first real time in my life where I was performing, and it was a great time. You know, I loved it. We played 90s music. And
it's a great era.
Yeah.
80s and 90s are my genre for music.
That's where it just peaked.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2000s, everything went downhill.
You know, like, I mean, you said it, not me.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and that probably prepared you for being comfortable, like on a stage in front of people. You know, we sit behind cameras a lot of times, and at least I have the benefit of having someone across from me. But a lot of times it's you, and we were talking earlier about the fact that you don't have to have $1 million worth of equipment. I don't know what you started with or what you're filming with now, but it could just be a cell phone.
That's all I've ever filmed with.
There you go.
Cell phone. As a matter of fact, I've been so like, you know, I don't want to say cheap, but I guess cheap with it for the longest time that I would use like my paper towel holder as my, you know, my stand. Yeah, I would just like put it on, like be sitting there right on my counter and getting held up by my paper towel holder, you know, because I was so lazy just to go find. I didn't think they made one for the phone. Then I finally started looking. I was like, oh wow, you can get a tripod for the phone. So yeah, that's all I've ever used, and it works, man. I mean, my editing app. I mean, I literally sit in my bed at night in my drawers and just edit the videos, you know? Like, it's the world we live in. Like, how lucky am I, you know? Like, you know, to...
You're blessed,
you know, I mean, look, there's real work in this, right? We talked about this.
100%.
Like, there's a lot of real work. I mean, I don't take a day off from this. Every day I check all the messages. I reply to the comments. I reply to the inbox. You know, those are the things that get you to where, you know...
Bump up that feed. Yeah.
You know, and that's where, like, you know, when people say, like, oh, man, you're so lucky, or, you know... but it's not a real job, you know. I'm like, well, when you get off of work every day, do you want to answer messages all day long? Do you want to answer the same question of where you get that pot? You know, like, because like you have to have in your mind, you can't get frustrated because the 30th person today may be asking the same question, because to them, that's the first time they said it. So you need to embrace them with the same empathy of, yeah, sure, this is where you can get it, you know.
100%.
And not everybody has that want to do that. So, you know, those are things you got to keep in mind when it comes to this kind of stuff. The work of this is unconventional to probably the normal 9 to 5, but it is constant real work, especially mentally, you know, and physically.
I know that in my case, it takes between 8 and 12 hours to produce one episode of Local Leaders. From the pre-meetings to the editing to putting it out, and then, you know, you got to promote it. I mean, you got to show, hey, I just dropped this on YouTube and all of that stuff. And of course, we release one thing I may not have mentioned to you, but we release this in audio form as well on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and all that stuff. So you get video and audio versions of our podcast. And that takes a little work, and we're not complaining, neither one of us. But I hear that too. Hey, you retired. I'm like, you retired, brother. I promise you that. Tiffany C-Card with Home Key Mortgage combines the experience and knowledge you need to make your mortgage loan a smooth, stress-free process. Reach out to Tiffany for more information on the vast mortgage programs available in the Livingston Parish area. Tiffany C-Card of Home Key Mortgage, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. Man, I want to go over these fun facts, and then I'm going to let you roll. But we had some fun facts, and I love this first one. I said, if you purchase a yacht, what would you name it? You said, I ain't purchasing no yacht.
Yeah, I ain't purchasing no yacht.
So I couldn't tell you. He wouldn't even get a cell phone holder. He ain't getting a yacht.
I don't need a yacht, man. You know, I'll take a bass boat, you know.
Yeah, like, there you go.
But I don't know if I put this on there, but I think at the time I was thinking to myself, if I bought a yacht, I would name it Bad Decision. You know?
So if you could have any superpower, what would it be? Another thing that speaks for you, ability to heal others.
Yeah, man. You know, I think that that would be the greatest superpower. You know, to take on somebody's challenge of who's going through pain or a disease or ailment and just heal them.
100%.
Just to be able to heal somebody. Ultimately, when we think of a superhero, we think of someone who saves lives, right? Like, why wouldn't that be the one? To fly or be strong is cool. But if you really want to save a lot of lives, to have that power of healing others, man, that would be amazing.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more on that. And anywhere in the world that you could travel, you and I share this. I picked the same place, Iceland.
Yeah, it is amazing. I think it's not thought of because of the name Iceland. You think
cold,
or just
Eskimos.
like you're thinking of like the Antarctic, but no, it is a very pretty area. Yeah, it would be amazing to see that area, and hopefully I check that one off one day.
Have you ever been to Alaska?
No, I haven't, but I've heard of like the Alaskan cruise, and I'd love to take one.
Done it with my wife, and I'm gonna tell you, look, I'm like you, South Louisiana boy. I went on my first cruise was to Alaska, and I'm telling you, it was unreal. Mm-hmm. People from South Louisiana, we ain't never seen something like this. It's like being inside a painting. It's just unbelievable. Eagles fly around like crows.
Wow.
Just crazy, man. But so check that out too, Alaska and Iceland.
I'd love to.
Yeah. So man, I can't thank you enough for coming on. Look, for those of you that we didn't know each other, I was a fan, watched his show, really enjoyed what he was doing. And so reached out. And you didn't hesitate. You said, yeah, man, when and where. And here we are. And I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it. I find you to be just an interesting person all around.
Well, I appreciate that. And look, thank you for having me, man. I mean, you reaching out is a big deal, if I have the time, I try to fit these things in because they're cool. You get a moment to just sit down and chat with somebody.
Yeah.
And if there's anything I love to do is talk. Like,
we got that in common.
I talk so much that like I'll say this often. Like when I do get to meet people in public who like know me from the page and they're excited and they're like so pumped.
Yeah.
Like I end up like talking myself to where they're finally like, all right, well, it was nice meeting you. and they kind of walk up like, God, that guy wouldn't shut up, So, but
I know that feeling. My wife does that to me sometimes. All right, Jim, I'm going to bed. All right, but I appreciate it again. Anything you need from the LP, man, you let me know. And we got a crew over here, and we can definitely take care of you and get you out there. But I'm gonna link everything in the description of this episode for your website and all that sort of stuff. Your YouTube. He's not gonna ask you, but give him a like and a follow if you'd like to. And let's support all of our local creators in Louisiana. This is a hotbed for it, believe it or not. You'd be surprised. Well, you may not be surprised, but people would be surprised how many podcasters come out of Louisiana, how many successful podcasters come out of this state from every bit of genre, from business to true crime to cooking to you name it. So I don't know what it is. I think we just friendly people, man.
Well, we're a fascinating part of the country, man. I like to tell people I feel like we're the Ireland of the USA, man.
Yeah,
like we love to sing and dance and drink and eat.
I was going to say
food,
drink beer.
Yeah. So yeah, we are a very interesting part of the country, and I think people are fascinated by that.
100%. And I do want to thank my sponsors for this show. All my live sponsors, all my sponsors that support me every week. I appreciate and love all of you. And thank you for allowing me to continue to do this and spread the great things about local business to people all over the state of Louisiana and beyond that even. Once again, I am Jim Chapman reminding you, love your community, support local business, and keep leading. Thank you very much.
Right on.
Black Sheep Creative understands the importance of digital marketing and your return on your investment. It's their aim to provide professional web and graphic design services at a price point that smaller businesses and startups can afford. Get in touch with them on the web at blacksheepcreative.com.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.